Welcome to the Ja Show. Memphis Grizzlies taking game 2 in this matchup, 106-101. Morant leading the way with 47 points in the winning effort, 8 rebounds, 8 assists as well. Scored the final 15 points of the game for Memphis in this win. It's a playoff career high 47 for Ja, which is also high mark for anyone this postseason. All right, let's dig into it all with the coach, Avery Johnson. Coach, simply spectacular performance here by Ja Morant. Scored the final 15 points of the game for Memphis. Offensive approach was simple. He said it after Game 6 in round 1. Ja, go get a bucket. And that was the approach here in the final quarter with Ja pouring in 18 in the fourth. How do you categorize this performance amongst the all-time greats here in the playoffs, Coach?
Well, Joe, unlike what's happening in Philadelphia in their series against the Miami Heat, where James Harden is only able to attempt 13 shots, Ja Morant attempted 31 shots. And that takes an enormous amount of energy, athleticism, focus, discipline, body control, physicality. And that's what Ja Morant has going for him. Unlike Steve Kerrs tonight, my old teammate from the Spurs, the last time one of the times Ja Morant scored 40-plus points was when I was in college, but we were fortunate to beat him when he was at Murray State because we shut down everybody else. Ja Morant got his, unlike tonight's game when Dillon Brooks got ejected from the game for a flagrant 2 foul on Gary Paytons II. The Golden State Warriors didn't do a good job on the others. So Ja Morant got his, the others got theirs. They really stifled the Golden State Warriors from behind the three-point line defensively. And the combination of all those things, that made out for some good gumbo tonight. If we were in good New Orleans, we would be eating some really good classic gumbo because everything that's combined in the recipe for the Memphis Grizzlies with their win tonight, they were all on point tonight.
Coach, you know better than anybody. It starts with a good roux. And that roux here on Tuesday night was Ja Morant. He was stirring the pot as well. I want to unpack some of what you just said there, Coach. We heard Steve Kerrs say it after the flagrant 2 that, there's a difference between physicality and playing dirty. Gary Paytons was on the receiving end of that flagrant 2, unable to return. We'll see how serious that elbow injury is, but looks like he could miss an extended amount of time, and he is part of that crew that they run out there at Ja. How big was that moment in the eventual outcome of this game?
That was huge because Gary Paytons II's defense on Ja in the first game was phenomenal. And it's not always the amount of points a player scores on the opposing team, it's his efficiency. If you hold the player to 5 for 21 and he still gets to the free throw line, makes a few threes, that's still a pretty good night defensively. But Ja tonight, 15 for 31. So it's not always just his shooting percentage, but getting 31 attempts and shooting 12 three-pointers, that's not going to bode well for any defense. Gary Paytons II's absence from tonight's game was directly correlated to Ja Morant's success tonight.
Well, I'll ask it as simple as this then, Coach, because Steve Kerrs was not happy with the way this game was being officiated. Obviously, a more concerted effort here out of Memphis to be more physical in Game 2. I know the old heads are going to scoff at it, but did Memphis cross that line of physicality and dirty play here in your eyes?
Well, the play against Gary Paytons II was a dirty play. It's the same way I called out Draymond Green when he talked about his play was more of a common foul. No, it was a flagrant 2. You should have been ejected. Dillon Brooks should have been ejected. And that could be in the late 80s when I played, 90s or 2000s, or even this era. It qualifies as a flagrant 2 foul. So, again, you can't play the victim. Because, remember early in the season when, there was a loose ball situation and Steph Curry was involved and he got tied up and somebody's diving for a loose ball and, Steph Curry, they were complaining about it. So you got to think about it both ways. If Steph Curry was in the same situation as Gary Paytons II or a Memphis player, you would want a flagrant 2 foul and an ejection. You just got to, whatever side you're on, fair is fair. I like the consistency with the NBA and the officiating that both of those situations were flagrant 2 fouls.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Coach, this is one of those games where Steph, Clay, Draymond, they're going to come to the podium, and like they always do, they're going to look down at the box score. They're going to go 18%. We shot 18% from three-point range, and we lost by 5 points. Can you frame it that way and take away some positives here if you're Golden State?
The positive is you got to split. Mm-hmm. Whenever you're a team like the Warriors, they'll talk about it in their press game poster and talk about how, we could have done better. But at the end of the day, on this flight back to San Francisco, they're going to be excited that they came into Memphis, got a split. They won the rebound game. They did a pretty decent job overall taking care of the ball. They didn't shoot the ball well tonight. Klay Thompson specifically didn't shoot the ball well. They didn't do a good enough job because they didn't have their best on-the-ball defender on the perimeter, Gary Paytons II. He'll be back, hopefully, for the next game to help them. And if he's not back, look for the Warriors coaching staff to make some adjustments, maybe some zone traps. The thing with me is when I coached against Ja Morant, I trapped him as soon as he got off the bus. Okay, so before he even got in the arena, you're going to see a trap or what we call 3 on the ball. You can't play Ja Morant with single coverage. He's going to destroy single coverage. So we'll see what the adjustments. But at the end of the day, when you're a road team, you're satisfied with a split, especially in this second round semifinals of the Western Conference Finals.
Now take the long flight back to the Chase Center where it will be 1-1, Coach. I think it's only appropriate that we do finish here with a final thought on Ja Morant and his 47-point performance. That's the high mark of anybody these playoffs thus far. Young player, ton of talent, and even more belief in himself. But when you put that sort of tape out there, if you're Ja Morant, what does this do for his psyche, his belief as this series moves forward?
It's funny. My wife asked me the question, why are they allowing Ja Morant to drive left? He's a right-handed player.
Loves it that way, though. Yep.
Hey, Ja, continue to get down here left. If my wife can figure this out, we'll see if the Warriors can figure it out. You cannot allow Ja Morant to get to his left hand consistently. And if you do, his dad is going to continue to dress just like Usher, and they're going to look like Siamese twins, and the folks in Memphis are going to have a good time.
They got to get T off the courtside seats there. It's a movie down there right now, and the Grindhouse was rocking. We're tied at 1 apiece, heading back to the Bay. Coach, we appreciate you and the whole family as always.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.